Good evening, welcome to ITV News Meridian.
Tonight's headlines in the south. Why do they do it? The heatwave risk takers in Portsmouth trying to stay cool. Tonight, rescue teams warn you're playing with danger.
Remain or leave as Brexit kept you here for the holidays. But what can you really get for your pound post-referendum?
Sailing on the Solent, the world's finest yachtsmen take to the water for the America's Cup.
And meet the graduates and their proud families. Thousands of pounds of debt. Today, though, time to celebrate. Good evening to you, welcome. Well, the summer break has only just begun, but already youngsters across our region are risking their lives as they make the most of the heatwave.
This week, one person has died in the sea at Brighton and several teenagers have been spotted tombstoning in Portsmouth. In
Bournemouth, 20 people have been rescued from the water, and in Poole, lifeboat crews have launched 17 times in just the last 5 days. Martin Dowse has our report.
One of Dorset and Wiltshire's specialist water teams practising rescue drills today ahead of a potentially busy weekend. Weirs, bridges, quarries, rivers heavy with weeds are all notorious places where youngsters in particular will get into trouble. It's a matter of anticipating the dangers and thinking before taking the plunge, despite the temptations.
Given the weather at the moment, there's an inclination to go and cool off. However, there are inherent dangers associated with these areas, such as cold water, deep water, and all these are a recipe really for disaster. One of the really difficult things to assess is the depth of the water, and if there are any known projections or rocks underneath, which if you do jump from a height and you haven't assessed this well, you may end up causing yourself significant injury.
These pictures captured youngsters tombstoning in Portsmouth this week. Great fun if you know the depth of the water or what may be hidden below the surface. If you don't, you're risking death or potentially being paralysed for life. On the coast, the start of the school holidays and the heatwave have created a perfect storm of potential danger. In Brighton, it claimed its first victim after a 44-year-old man swimming near the pier got into difficulty and sadly died. Poole lifeboat station, already one of the busiest in the country, had what they describe as an exceptionally high number of call-outs. This dramatic boat fire, missing swimmers and broken down jet skis have kept the volunteer crew busy, and like the fire service, they're bracing themselves for the weekend.
I think as soon as the sun comes out, people rush to get their boats out that are probably not quite prepared or not ready or not serviced, and you know, they don't check the full weather, the tides, and have they got spare fuel? Have they got flares? Is their boat maintained? Has the engine been serviced? You know, has everyone got a life jacket? Is it in date? Is it serviced? Is it looked after? I don't want anyone to stop enjoying the water. The water's great fun. Just have means of calling for distress when things do go wrong, and inevitably they will go wrong.
Have fun, enjoy these open spaces, but respect them because there are hidden dangers in there. If you're aware of what they are, everyone can enjoy those spaces, but also ensure that they come home safely at the end of the day.
Martin Dowse, ITV News.
Well, the recent warm weather has meant that an extra 500,000 people are opting to stay in England during the holidays, with Brighton, Bournemouth and the New Forest among some of the most popular UK destinations. The Sandy Balls holiday park in Fordingbridge says the industry has recently seen a huge boost.
From our perspective, we have a fantastic increase in sales in July. August is looking very strong. It's going to be one of our strongest Augusts ever, and I think that's reflecting on how people are viewing purchasing and spending money for holidays.
Meanwhile, ports along the south coast have been busy today. Thousands will travel to the continent, but concerns about the exchange rate and recent terror attacks have influenced decisions to stay in the UK. Ferry bookings to the Isle of Wight are up by 15%.
I do know from work colleagues that are very wary now because of the incidents that have happened abroad, and also how much more it's going to cost them to buy their euros.
Given what's happened recently, it does put you off, I think, definitely.
There's plenty of indications that staycation is definitely being favoured this year. Since the referendum, we've seen an increase in inquiries, an increase in bookings.
I really like the Isle of Wight because it's still in England and you don't have to learn a foreign language, and it's really nice and sunny.
I agree with that. Well, the increase in staycations has meant the region's roads will be particularly busy, especially the M27 A31 interchange in Hampshire and the A303 at Stonehenge. The RAC has warned congestion will be dramatically worse than last year's summer getaway, with 14.4 million motorists on our roads over the next 3 days.
I was expecting heightened traffic down towards the coastal areas, shopping, the ports. So we just advise people to plan their journeys, check on our website and local traffic news for any disruptions within the area, so it allows them to make informed decisions about their journey.
Well, around 2.5 million Brits are going overseas, with the Mediterranean the most popular destination. This weekend, Heathrow will see more than 500,000 passengers passing through its terminals, and 350,000 people will be jetting off from Gatwick. The most popular flights are to Spain, Cyprus and Florida.
Really, the Middle East and Turkey has been nowhere near as popular. Still occasionally people will go to Turkey, but cruising has been incredible for us this year. We've done more cruises in the first 6 months than we would normally do in a whole year. You have to remember, with a cruise, if there's a problem in a port where they're due to go into, the cruise ship would simply divert and go somewhere else.
So for those still choosing to holiday overseas, the big question now is, how much more is it costing you, and what can you get for your pound now that we have voted to leave the EU?
Well, with everything you need to know, here's Matt Price.
It might only be a couple of thousand miles away from home, but you'd be surprised how the value of the pound changes on that short flight over to Spain. Granted, many of us don't look at exchange rates when we go on holiday, but take a look back 12 months and you'd be surprised to see how the cost of holidaying abroad has got that little bit more expensive. And it's all to do with the value of the British pound. Alex and Charlotte have been coming here for years, a haven for families in search of sun, sea and relaxation. But money matters. And when you're travelling with children, meet 5-year-old Bella and Summer, who's 4, what you get per pound is very important.
Yeah, it's certainly more expensive. The exchange rate's a lot worse. We've noticed that, especially when we're changing the currency. So we have to be a bit more creative about how we do that.
Food's definitely been more expensive. Like when we've been to the supermarket, it's been quite a bit more, hasn't it?
Alex told me how he took his family out for a meal last night, costing €60. So compared to last year, did his wallet take a hit? By my calculations, you've lost £8 on a meal. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, it's significant, isn't it? It's quite a bit of money, really, and especially if you times that over the week and how many meals you are going out for. It certainly makes a big difference in what a holiday costs you.
The strength of the pound against the euro has been on its own journey of late. Sitting steady in July 2014, we were getting around €1.25 for each pound. Better rates in July last year, though, at €1.41, but it's been on a downward trend for much of this year, perhaps due to the EU referendum, meaning today we get just €1.19 for every pound that we spend. What will happen in the future is unknown, and that uncertainty concerns Jesus. His beachside barbecue relies on tourist trade.
Well, yes, in one way, yes, we worry the pound is not so strong, and for us, for the tourist industry, it will be important that it will be bad for us, because we not have so many tourists when the pound is low than when the pound is high.
But Spain is a country drawing in 12 million Brits each year, among them Stuart and Wilma from Worthing in West Sussex. They've been holidaying in the Costas all of their lives and own an apartment. With political uncertainty in other countries, a weak pound will never affect tourism here, they say.
I wouldn't have thought so.
I think there's enough going on in Turkey and places like that. I mean, we've noticed it seems to be busier this year than it was this time last year.
As the Spanish enjoy a siesta, we find Dave running his British bar. A glass half full man, he's unfazed by his currency back at home.
I don't think at the present it has made much effect on us this year because of the holidays are already booked, they're already coming and they have to put up with what it is like. Next year may be different, but next year it may have recovered.
It's perhaps a fair assumption to say Brits will never stop holidaying in Europe based on the strength of the pound. They work hard and want to enjoy a well-earned break. But next time you're ordering an ice-cold drink in a bar like this, say at €1.50, do you really know the true cost of what you're spending on holiday? Matt Price, ITV News on the Costa del Sol.
Meanwhile, 2 scout groups who were due to go away next week say they have felt the negative effects of Brexit. The 2nd Newbury and 1st Wash Commons Scout Group are having to find emergency funds to press ahead with their trip to Norway. They lost hundreds of pounds as accommodation costs soared and the value of the pound fell.
People were woken by the sounds of the police helicopter this morning after reports of a burglary at a supermarket in Southampton. Officers were called to the Aldi store in Beavis Valley at around 3 a.m. 2 men were arrested on suspicion of burglary.
Well, you're watching ITV News here in the Meridian region. Thanks so much for choosing us. We appreciate it. Coming up, will the heatwave continue this weekend? Simon can tell us that. Plus,
sporting blunder. Can you guess what happens next on the Cherries pre-season tour? Andrew Pate will reveal all, so to speak.
In the best possible way. Keep up to date online, itv.com/news/Meridian. You can call us, of course, on this number, 0808 10 10 095, or get in touch via Facebook, or send us a tweet at ITV Meridian.
Well, what a week it's been. Temperatures in the region reached 91 degrees, the hottest places, Benson in Oxfordshire, Heathrow and Charlwood near Gatwick.
Yes, we've been enjoying the sunshine, but we've also spent the week looking at the dangers a sunny day can bring. Viewers were invited to a special screening unit to see if their skin had been damaged by too many rays. And we met people affected by skin cancer.
The message, though, was a positive one. Be aware, protect you and the family, and make sure you cover up, use sun cream and avoid the midday sun. But what about the people who work outdoors, who have no choice? Here's Ellie Barker.
Michael Mansfield always loved the sunshine. He enjoyed working outside in it as a builder for nearly 50 years.
In those days, it was a case of just turning up. There was no health and safety as such as there is today. We used to go, and in the summer, once the sun comes out like it is today, it was renowned. Its shirts was off, shorts was on, and you'd wear a white hanky over your head to see raised off your head, but it was just shirts off. That was renowned throughout the industry. Everybody done it.
It was when he returned from holiday his wife and daughter noticed a mole was getting bigger.
Took a biopsy. A week later, I was in hospital. It was a melanoma, found to be fairly deep. I had an operation the week after.
Judith Denning also spends most of her days working outside as a livestock farmer. She too has skin cancer.
I consider myself to be lucky that actually the skin cancer that I have isn't one of the life-threatening ones, so I consider it to be a warning.
While Judith and her family say they use suntan cream for days out and holidays, she admits applying it while working outside wasn't a priority.
Looking back, I should have taken that extra 5 minutes in the morning to put the sun cream on. But life is busy, we're all busy, and when we get up in the morning it's dark and it's grey. It's not always, the sun isn't out, so it's not what you think of doing.
And Judith and her family are not alone. Staff at NHS England are trying to remind these farmers the importance of covering up.
People think about it when they're on holiday, but not when they're going out every day. But this is the messages we're trying to get across. Actually, if you're outdoors in the bright sun all day, you do need to think about this.
Put on a hat most of the time. But, you know, occasionally when the sun's out, it catches you out on it. But on my nose, whether that's a little touch of whiskey at night, I don't know.
The message may be getting across when it comes to farmers, but all the builders we spoke to on one of the hottest days of the year still weren't covered up.
Are you wearing suntan cream or not?
No.
Are you wearing suntan cream at the moment?
Nah.
Why not?
It's not hot enough. It's not hot enough for me.
It's baking out here.
Nah, it's alright. It looks a bit of cooking oil.
Do you ever wear suntan lotion like when you go on holiday?
Nah, never. I put a bit of that oil on.
So what does Michael have to say to this?
You might be the unfortunate one. And there's no good being bizarre about it. It won't happen to me. Cancer don't take any effect on anybody. It just comes and you get it. And it's one of those things, once you've got it, you've got it.
Two different stories, but the message is the same. If you're working outside, take care. You may not be as lucky as them. Ellie Barker, ITV News.
Well, plenty on that story, and the signs of what to look out for are on our website. Just go to itv.com/Meridian.
Well, now to sport, and a sports presenter who's not just local or regional or even national. He's international. Andrew Pate.
That's right, Skipper. The America's Cup is the biggest prize in world sailing. And racing in the World Series began in Portsmouth this afternoon. Among the many thousands there is our own Sally Simmons. And Sally, how did Great Britain get on?
Well, it couldn't have been a better start for Sir Ben Ainslie and the crew of Land Rover BAR, straight out of the starting blocks and 2 victories. But I mean, this is his home turf, this is where he trains all the time. The crew have decided to be based here and not go out to Bermuda. Now, funnily enough, some people today, of the thousands, didn't actually watch any of the racing. Hard to believe, but there is stacks to do, even if you're not a yachting fan. So with the weather and today's results, the event has really got off to a spectacular start.
Some of the best pilots in the world painted the skies above Portsmouth to signal the start of the America's Cup World Series. Arguably the best sailor in the world, Sir Ben Ainslie is soaking up the home support.
Looking forward to it?
Yeah, no, it's going to be awesome.
Thank you very much.
It's great conditions.
They've been queuing up to get in, you know?
Yeah, no, the sun's out.
You better perform.
Beautiful British summer. Yeah, we'll go for it.
It's up to you.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Thousands streamed onto the seafront at Southsea to see 6 teams competing for the America's Cup. 2 straight victories for Land Rover BAR, but brothers Tom and Oliver disagree on his overall chances.
I reckon they've got a 110% chance of winning. They're probably going to come in like the top 3, but they still do have a chance of winning it.
Well, they might be the best sailors in the world, competing for the oldest sporting trophy in the world, but not everybody's watching. You're here, you're missing it.
We are. We decided to have a little look at for things for the children to do, and my daughter Grace has been on this already and really enjoyed it.
Now, impress me with your knowledge of the America's Cup.
I have none. It's about sailing and boats, and that's about it.
And back on the water, thousands cheered as Ainslie and the crew of Land Rover BAR proved they can read the waters of Portsmouth the best. But points only count from tomorrow.
Well, joining me now is the skipper of Artemis Racing, Ian Percy, and a South Coast boy, well, when you're here. How did you get on today?
The practice races were a bit tough. It was our first day out with Francesco, but then the final race, which is a counter, certainly potentially, we did okay. We came fourth, which in these series is basically what it's about, staying out the last few places.
Now, I'm going to give you a hard time now because I'm allowed to, because that's what we do to all our guests. I went on a boat yesterday for the first time, and do you do this to all your guests? Sit them at the back in the wettest place of all. Just let them get drenched and ignore them.
Yeah, I think it's designed for the perfect fire hose from the dagger boards. The bit you fly off puts up a massive spray. That's exactly where the guests go. And then we just completely get into the race and blank them for the whole time and then kick them off again. Yeah, it's a great experience. I suggest everyone does it.
I tell you what it did tell me, though, is that I kept thinking the races were really short, 20 minutes long, but now I've been on board, I understand it is such hard work.
Yeah, you're pulling a lot of ropes as hard as you possibly can. It's frantic. I mean, it feels pretty quick to us just because everything's happening so fast. You have to have lightning reactions, and any mistake of any of the 5 crew members is punished very hard.
Now, how confident are you? You are really a main contender to possibly win the America's Cup?
Yeah, I think we're in one of the strongest positions. Probably the 3 teams based in Bermuda are in a good place for that. Particularly Oracle, I imagine, they are the defender. They're through to the final, but I think we're pretty competitive with them. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. This kind of racing here, we've got a new helm this weekend. I don't want to get my excuse in early. I'm sure Francesco's not going to let us down. But
no excuses.
No excuses. No excuses will be needed, shall we say. But yeah, this is all for bringing the America's Cup to the people. It's not really what any of the teams are particularly focusing on at the moment. But I think it's a great showcase and they're going to enjoy it.
Thank you. Thanks for coming up. Thanks for joining us. Well, racing starts tomorrow and on Sunday. The weather looks amazing, and even I would go back on board and get drenched again.
Sally, thank you very much indeed. Rather you than me. Yeah, gearing up for a great weekend. Now though, to some cricketing legends who've been taking each other on the golf course. Sir Ian Botham and Shane Warne flew around the country to play a hole at each of the 18 county cricket grounds. Here they are at Hampshire, with the pair raising money for the Beefy Foundation. Of course, it is all about the charity, but I must say, England did beat Australia. Yay! Of course, the rivalry between England and Australia dates back many years, and next week the over-70s Ashes is coming to Hampshire. With the series tied at 1-1, this final match at Burridge near Winchester is going to be tense, as Natalie Gray found out.
When it comes to cricket, England and Australia are old rivals, and these are old rivals. They are the over-70s Ashes teams.
Australians, all let us rejoice, for we are young and free.
Not that young, but there's no doubting their fervour, fight and fire.
We've got a good side, and I think we'll probably run the Poms off their legs.
Well, I hope you're wrong.
We take it very seriously. I mean, we've all got to the age of 70 and we're still playing competitive sport. And it keeps us going, I think.
How good is it to still be able to play cricket at 70 and with your mates? You know, really, how good is that?
It doesn't matter what level you're playing, it's a great honour to be selected for your country.
There's no such thing as a fast bowler. Everyone's a bit slower, but there's still so much pride and passion to be representing their countries.
It's something you dream about from being a kid, you know, and today I was particularly moved because my son put me up on Facebook saying, my dad's going to play in the Ashes. And I thought it was marvellous.
And you are?
I am.
Yes, you're safe. What are the problems playing cricket at this level at your age?
No trouble during the game, but problems the next 2 days.
The talk over tea has changed over the years.
Instead of talking about girls and fast cars like we used to when we were young fellas, now we talk about prostate operations and blood pressure and all those sort of, and grandkids, of course.
Natalie Gray, ITV News.
Finally, the new Football League season starts in 2 weeks' time, with plenty of pre-season games this weekend. But our goalkeepers will be hoping to avoid calamities like this. Bournemouth have been in America this week, but little did they expect to be gifted a goal by the Minnesota United keeper. Now, yep, it's been called the worst own goal of all time, and it has to be said, it really is truly spectacular. It also has to be said, it is very, very funny.
He's a big fan of yours as well. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Now, thousands of students have been celebrating their graduations across our region despite racking up debts of more than £70,000.
Yes, and with plans to raise tuition fees even further, what does the future hold for those donning gowns and mortarboards? Christine Alsford finds out.
A day for celebrations, moments for the family album. And at the University of Southampton, hundreds graduating with big hopes for the future.
1, 2 and 3.
So what does a degree mean to the class of 2016?
These past 4 years have all come to this moment, and it's really good.
Very, very happy. 3 years was a very long time, but I'm happy that I'm done today.
There were times where I didn't think I could do it. I remember in first year I was struggling, but now I'm ecstatic.
But just how much student debt are this year's graduates facing?
That debt is maybe about 70,000 at the moment with interest. I'm not entirely sure of the exact figure.
What, you want the actual figure?
You gonna tell me?
Could be like 40k or something. 40,000, I think.
Oh God, about 50,000.
I like not to think about it, to be honest.
The way that it's structured and the way they pay it off, it's in small amounts, it's manageable, it's not going to affect their lives too much and they won't know any different.
And has anyone found a job yet?
Going travelling for 6 months in Southeast Asia, teaching English, and then I'll come back and hopefully have a grad job lined up.
There are a shortage of jobs now, but I think if you have a good degree, you have relevant experience, it's not as difficult.
I come out of it with a good job and good opportunity, so yes, I think it was worth it.
So on this special day, what do the proud parents think?
I am extremely proud of her. She's been a very hard worker throughout her 3 years. Very, very proud of her.
He's the first grandson to graduate in the family, so it's a really proud moment.
She's got a first in physics in an integrated master's degree. So, yeah,
you can't do much better than that.
And female as well, to add it on top of it. She's got really embarrassed now. So.
New research says the earlier children decide to go to university, the more likely they are to get into a good one. For so many of the class of 2016, today the realisation of a long-held childhood dream. Christine Alsford, ITV News.
Many congratulations, good luck. Simon's with us now, Simon.
Yeah, I have more news on the phenomenon that's giving Pokemon Go a run for its money.
Yes.
Strawberries that look like other things. We started this last week.
Yes.
They've been flooding in. Grab your cream. Here's what we've got. Andrew French in cows. That's not him. That's his granddaughter Ruby holding one that looks like a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Look. And Sandy, this is Sandy Cadman in Bedhampton, has picked this one. She says Nessie or Pete's Dragon.
Can see that.
Yes. Proving that this hobby is fun for all the family. Here's a joint effort from Jane and David in Bournemouth. They reckon theirs looks like a chicken. But I'll let you have duck. Another double act. Rita and Barry Atkinson in Gosport
teddy bear.
say they've had loads that look like this. Helped a bit by peppercorns, if you're interested. And I'm not quite sure what this one from Angie Cordell in Reading is supposed to be, but it's definitely some kind of creature.
Sweet.
Possibly helping us launch another strand. Look, Isabel McKinley in Arundel in Sussex. Blackberries that look like other things.
Simon, you're very good.
Oh, great pun, it.
But will he give us the pip? Here he is with his forecast.
From blizzards to pool, driving through Europe. Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Now, I know what you're thinking. These schools have broken up and yet the weather's still good. Surely the world's gone mad. Well, yes, possibly. Or it might be to do with the high pressure that's lurking down to the south of us, keeping things fine and settled as the weather fronts try their best to ruin things but don't quite manage. Until Sunday night, when we'll see a bit of extra cloud and maybe some bits and pieces of drizzle. But once that's cleared through, next week is looking quite decent as well. So back to today. 1 or 2 tricky showers still around. Still that Met Office weather warning in place until 10 o'clock. Could be an inch of rain falling in a short space of time if one of those showers lands on you, but they'll fizzle away and then we're dry for the rest of the night. We'll have some clear spells, we'll have a bit of patchy mist here and there, and it will be a warm one, but good start tomorrow, some good sunshine to get us going. In fact, the sunshine's going to warm us up quite nicely tomorrow. Highs around 27 degrees come the afternoon. That's 80 in Fahrenheit. A lot of dry and fine weather. Just the risk of an odd shower, but again, many of us will miss out. As for your high tide times, well, you can see in Poole, just the one at around 25 past midday. And then Sunday, another pretty decent day. Warm and sunny, even fewer showers. Monday starts off okay. Might be an odd shower cropping up later on.
Eurotunnel the Shuttle sponsors ITV Meridian weather.
Keeping a close eye on summer. The Pollen Count, sponsored by Allergy Eye Drops.
Well, if you are a hay fever sufferer, you'll know if you're lucky tomorrow if one of those rogue showers lands on you, because that will reduce the pollen risk. Otherwise, pollen levels will be high. That's how they're going to stay into next week.
And in just a moment, we've got the ITV Evening News with James Mates and Ranveer Singh.
Stacey Paul's got our late news, but for now, from the team here at ITV Meridian, including Simon on camera one of our technicians, leaving us after many years. Good luck, Simon. From us all, have a good weekend.
Happy weekend. Bye-bye.